This channel, this show in a minute. I just want to wait for our live streams to get on our platforms, and then we'll talk. Let's see here. So it looks like we're on YouTube. It looks like that's hooked up. Our Periscope is online. My Facebook page, To Cry Dry Tears, online. And our Facebook Helping Parents of Mentally Ill Children is online. So hi everybody. So my name's Bill McPhee and welcome to Helping Parents of Mentally Ill Children. Today is Sunday, the March 22nd, and as some of you know, we do this live broadcast every Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And today is no different than any other Sunday night. I want to just kind of introduce myself. So my name is Bill McPhee, and I was hospitalized 6 different times. I lived in 3 different group homes. I had a suicide attempt, and I spent 5 years on the couch dealing with a deep depression. I was very ill. In 1987, I was actually diagnosed with an illness known as schizophrenia. And I used to publish a publication called SZ Magazine. I did that for 23 years and then I retired. However, I did write a book in 2014 called To Cry a Dry Tear, Bill McPhee's Journey of Hope and Recovery with Schizophrenia. And it's a very unique book. It talks, basically has all my doctor's notes and nurses' notes and a whole bunch of stuff. So it's a really good resource. It's kind of unique for that because of that. So on this channel, we want to try to help parents. We want to try to help anybody with who's going through a crisis and dealing with mental illness. And let me just start by telling you a little bit about my week. I'm sure all of you have been affected in some way with the coronavirus. And I had a trip to Cincinnati that I had to cancel because of that. And yeah, so I'm glad I did, because it's been a really hectic week. It's been a hectic week because of the coronavirus. I had to cancel my trip to Cincinnati. But then again, our church closed. We're going to have worship services are canceled, though our pastor's doing them, recording them, and we can watch them on the website or on Facebook. And also what happened is our border closed. So the Canadian-U.S. border is closed, and our airports and different things are closed. So being affected that way. Being affected as well, I had to deliver food. I went shopping. My son and I went shopping for a couple from our church who's in quarantine, and so we did that one day. And obviously the schools are closed here. I have 3 children, but I have 2 children living with me here. Dwight, who's going to be 18 in May, and he's in grade 12 at French Immersion School, and that stopped, and they're supposed to go back April 6th. And my daughter Hannah, she's in grade 10 at that school, and she's supposed to go back April 6th. But you know what? To tell you the truth, I really don't think they're going to be going back. I think this year's a wash. I just got a call tonight, which is unusual for the school to call on a Sunday night, but I got a message from the school that online courses are available, and the students are expected to go online and start their studying online, and their subjects online and things like that. Don't know how that's going to go over. Really, a lot of things are up in the air, and a lot of things are up in the air in a lot of places. A lot of places around the world. Apparently, there's over 144 countries that this virus is in, and the way that it's changing everything. We get every day. I'm listening to broadcasts of of our Canadian Prime Minister sharing what's going on in Canada, and I also follow in the States because I'm so close. I'm in basically Niagara Falls, Ontario, and the border between the USA and Canada is I live right on the border, and so I get a lot of US news and a lot of US politics and different things like that as well. And so it's bad. It really is. I mean, they don't have a handle on this. They don't have a handle on it at all. The world is experiencing something that they've never experienced before. Other than say in I believe either 1907 or 1917. I just learned this earlier this year, is that there was what do you call it? There was the Spanish flu that at that time eradicated a third of the world's population. And as well in Europe with the plague, the bubonic plague or the Black Plague, it killed 25 million people. 25 million people. That's unbelievable. And so here we are now into another Corona crisis. I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. I just want to touch on a couple things. I mentioned to you that I was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and that's true. However, I've been living with this illness for over 30 years, and I have a good quality of life. I do get an injection. I get an injection of Fluanaxle every 4 weeks. I get an injection, 40 milligrams of that. I have to go to the Niagara Falls Hospital to get that administered to me. And also I'm on what's known as Cogentin. It's basically a side effect medication that helps me with the side effects. You probably notice I'm always drinking all the time, water or tea or something, because I get very dry mouth. And that's due to my medication as well. And usually when I get my injection, I have to 3 days later, I'm kind of a little bit I can't pronounce it. I can't pronounce that word. I'm sorry, but I'm very lazy for 3 days. After that. That's funny. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, so that's my side of it. But what really helps too is that I want to give you a tip. If you're a parent and you're helping your children with or your child with mental illness, taking medication and different like that, it's very hard to keep track of it. I mean, you think, oh, did I take it today or whatever? And what I use is I use these Dosets. So it has from Sunday all the way to Saturday, and there's an AM and there's a PM, and I have my Cogentin in there, as well as my diabetes medication. I was diagnosed early this year with type 2 diabetes, and so I'm on a diabetes pill as well. But that's going good. It works really well. My when I first had my diabetes, what is it? What is that called? Your AOC, A1C. So the average one C. So A1C, it was as high as 11, and when I first got, then I started taking medication, and then 3 months later, when I went back to the doctor, my A1C was 7.2. And the doctor said I'd like to get it down to about 6.5. So we'll see. No, I got it down from 11 to 7, and then the 3 months after that it was 7.2, and we're trying to get it down to about a 6.5. So if I'm a little bit high, the next time I go to the doctor, he's just gonna give me more of my diabetes medication. Yeah, so that it's very important. That's very important. Want to just talk a little bit. I was reading a book today, or I finished a book. Again, this one here. This is a friend of mine who wrote a book called Straight Talk straight talk about living with a severe mental illness. And this is Daryl Herman. And Daryl's a friend of mine, wrote that book. Very good book. It has the basics and straight to the point. You can find that on Amazon as well. You can find my book on Amazon or at my website and different things like that. And then this book is just a friend of mine too, Bethany Yazzer. Bethany has this book, Mind Estranged, and Bethany has a fantastic story. She was actually homeless for 4 years. And she was homeless for 4 years and eventually got back on track. It was basically, she was in jail a couple of times, and really her turning point was when police officers picked her up, and she was gonna go. The police officers had a choice whether to take her to a jail or to take her to a psychiatric hospital. They chose to take her to a psychiatric hospital. And from there, that was basically her turning point once she got a diagnosis. But she could have very easily fell through the cracks and been sent to jail, and would be in the justice system instead of the mental health system. But Bethany does really well with her illness, and I'll have Bethany on our show here on helping parents of mentally ill children. I'll have her sometime. If you look in the archives, of our these videos are on my website and on my YouTube channel and everything. And I'm going to have Bethany on one of the shows here sometime. The reason I'm not having a lot of guests right now on the show is because with this coronavirus, it's just a lot of people are just kind of indoors and are chilling and are kind of panicking and everything like that. So once we get over this crisis, then I'll have more guests on and everything like that. But you can go to back channels. I had Betsy Ross on here. She was an Army veteran talking about post-traumatic stress disorder. I had Kim Lamonte, who's an advocate for a mental health advocate. Who else have I had on? I have different people on. I had Dan Barrett on, who deals with depression. And so if you'd like to be a guest, if you think you have something to offer, parents of mentally ill children, or if you want to, if you've written a book or you're a mental health advocate, would love to have you on. The way we do that is I bring you in through Skype. And then when you're on Skype, then you just come on. I show you on the screen here, and it gets broadcasted out to all of my main streaming. Goes out to YouTube, goes out to Periscope, goes out to Facebook page, Cried Right Here, and it goes out to Helping Parents of Mentally Ill Children, the Facebook group that this is part of. So I just want to inform you a little bit about that. Now, what I really want to talk a little bit about something that's very serious, and I don't know how you're going to take this. I don't know how you're going to take this, or you're going to say, "Oh, Bill, he's some kind of a fanatic, or he's some kind of a religious, he doesn't know what he's talking about or anything like that." But I just want to be very open with you and transparent. I've always really tried to be transparent, and I'm not doing this to scare anybody, but I want to bring you to reality and tell you that this coronavirus is very, very serious. We haven't really seen anything like it before. I talked about the Spanish flu killing a third of the population in 1917, and the bubonic plague, the Black Plague, that killed 25 million people. Well, you know what? We don't have a handle on this virus. It's growing. New York City is really in bad shape. Italy is in bad shape. There's 140 countries that are really in bad shape. And I just want to tell you, transparently, I'm 57 years old now, and you know what? But I became a Christian when I was 24 years old, and you know what? And I don't really share my faith a lot or intrude on people, but I just feel obligated to tell you that, you know, if you're looking for science and the doctors and everything, you see, we're barking up the wrong tree, because really in the Old Testament, in the Old Testament, the whole Old Testament was bringing up people, was bringing up stories and situations and events that led to one main thing, and that one main thing was the birth of Christ. Now we're in the New Testament now, but everything moving from the New Testament, from the birth of Christ on forward, is basically working toward the second coming of Christ. And he's going to come back again. And I just wanted to share that with you, just to tell you that if you're scared and you're not a Christian, you should have reason to be scared. But if you're looking for comfort and hope and help, I really want you to think about your faith and that, because you know what, we don't really know what's going to happen with this pandemic. I mean, I was out shopping the other day in Walmart, and I was able to get groceries. It was shelving was okay. The products on the shelving were okay. And then I just looked today through social media, and they had pictures of my local Walmart, and all the things were off the shelf again, and they can't get things. So people are panicking. I don't want you to panic. But I want you to really think about, you know, what life is all about. And I want to tell you that there will be the return of Christ, and things may be leading up to that. I know that's all I'm going to say, but if you're scared, I just want to give you the heads up is that feel free to go to my website, billmcphee.ca, and you'll see my email there. You can email me with any questions. I'll be very happy to help calm you and not frighten you. I'm on Twitter at BillMcPhee62. You can always PM me on Twitter or on Facebook. You can PM me. So if you want to contact, if you have any thoughts, or you're worried, or you know you want to really know what's happening, feel free to do that. Like again, you know what? I don't want to come off as a fanatic, or you say, oh, Bill's a Bible banger, or Bill's he's out of his mind again, or he's delusional. I just wanted to give you the truth is that the Lord is coming for the second coming, and for me that's very peaceful. I'm at that. I can see what's happening in the world, and it doesn't scare me because I know the truth. And basically, if you want to have some peace of mind, feel free to contact me in any way. Okay, so you know what? Share this stream again if you want to share this, or if you want to sign up to our newsletter that will tell you who's coming on as guests in the future and who's been past guests with the links in that. Or go to my YouTube channel, or just search Bill McPhee in YouTube. My channel will come up, or go to my website. You'll see these broadcasts and everything like that. So I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover, and I'll see you next week, 9 p.m. every Sunday. We're live, and again, you know what? If you have any questions, if you're scared, PM me, and I'll talk to you, or email with you, or whatever it is. But feel free to contact me, and we'll do our best to try to not promote fears, but to inform you of what's happening. Okay, everybody, that's the end of our broadcast. Once again, my book is To Cry a Dry Tear, Bill McPhee's Journey of Hope and Recovery with Schizophrenia. And we will say goodbye, and may God bless, and see you next week. Bye for now.